Imagine if you could steal millions of dollars without getting caught. Well, that's exactly what a group of men did in one of the most daring heists in American history. This is the incredible story of the Lufthansa heist, a tale of betrayal, violence, and a robbery that left authorities scratching their heads. Picture this. It's the late 1970s. JFK Airport in New York City is bustling with activity, planes taking off and landing, and passengers rushing to catch their flights. But amidst all the chaos, a group of men were planning the perfect heist. This is the story of the infamous Lufthansa heist, one of the biggest and most daring robberies in American history. Before starting, like and subscribe to my channel for more exciting content. Let's get started. The heist. The Lufthansa heist took place on December 11, 1978, at the Lufthansa cargo terminal at JFK Airport in New York City. The robbers were able to enter the terminal with relative ease, thanks to an airport employee who was in on the scheme. Once inside, they disabled the alarm system and overpowered the guards, tying them up and taking their weapons. The robbers then made their way to the vault, which contained cash and jewelry valued at over $5 million. The robbers were incredibly organized and efficient, taking only a few minutes to gather their loot and flee the scene. They were able to escape without being detected, leaving the authorities baffled as to how such a large-scale heist could have been carried out with such precision. The investigation. The investigation into the Lufthansa heist was one of the most extensive and complex in American history. The authorities were initially at a loss as to who could have carried out such a daring and sophisticated robbery. However, over time, they were able to piece together the events that led up to the heist and identify those involved. It was eventually discovered that the mastermind behind the heist was Jimmy Burke, a notorious mobster with ties to the Lutjes crime family. Burke had recruited a team of robbers to carry out the heist, including members of the Gambino and Bonanno crime families. The investigation also uncovered a web of betrayal and conspiracy, with many of the robbers turning on each other and trying to cut deals with the authorities. This made the investigation even more challenging, as the authorities had to sift through a great deal of conflicting information to get to the truth. The fallout. The fallout from the Lufthansa heist was significant and far-reaching. While the authorities were eventually able to arrest many of those involved in the heist, the incident had already set in motion a wave of violence and bloodshed in the New York City underworld. The heist had generated an enormous amount of money for the criminal enterprises involved, and different factions were now fighting for control of this lucrative market. This led to a period of intense violence and turmoil, with numerous murders and other acts of violence being carried out by rival factions. Many of those involved in the heist were eventually caught and sentenced to long prison terms. Jimmy Burke, the mastermind behind the heist, was eventually convicted of murder and racketeering and sentenced to life in prison. Legacy and impact. The Lufthansa heist has had a lasting impact on American culture and remains one of the most famous and intriguing heists in history. The heist has inspired numerous books, movies, and TV shows, cementing its place in popular culture. The heist also had a significant impact on the criminal underworld in New York City. The violence and turmoil that followed in the aftermath of the heist marked a turning point in the history of organized crime in the city. It signaled the beginning of a new era of violence and power struggles, which would continue for years to come. Overall, the Lufthansa heist is a fascinating and complex story that offers a glimpse into the world of organized crime in the late 1970s. It's a cautionary tale of the dangers of greed and violence and a reminder of the devastating consequences that can result from criminal activity. Aftermath and recovery efforts. After the Lufthansa heist, the authorities were left to deal with the fallout of the robbery. The crime scene was a mess, with debris and evidence scattered everywhere. The airport and airline staff were traumatized by the event, and security measures were ramped up to prevent future incidents. Meanwhile, the victims of the heist were left to deal with the emotional and financial fallout. Many of the victims were small businesses that relied on the stolen goods for their livelihoods. The loss of these goods was a devastating blow, and many struggled to recover. In the aftermath of the heist, there were numerous recovery efforts aimed at helping the victims get back on their feet. These efforts included fundraisers, insurance payouts, and even government assistance. Despite these efforts, however, many of the victims never fully recovered from the heist. Today, the Lufthansa heist serves as a cautionary tale of the devastating impact that crime can have on individuals and communities. While the heist itself may have been a fascinating and daring event, the aftermath highlights the real human toll of such crimes. Conclusion: the Lufthansa heist is a story that has captured the imagination of people for decades. It's a tale of daring, betrayal, and violence, and it has left a lasting impact on American history. The heist serves as a reminder of the power struggles and violence that defined organized crime in New York City during that era. As we come to the end of our journey through the Lufthansa heist, we are left with a sense of awe and fascination. This was a daring robbery that shook the foundations of the criminal underworld and left a lasting impact on American history. But beyond the excitement of the heist itself, we are reminded of the devastating consequences that can result from greed and violence. The Lufthansa heist led to a wave of bloodshed and turmoil in New York City and serves as a cautionary tale of the dangers of organized crime. We hope that you have enjoyed learning about the Lufthansa heist as much as we have enjoyed sharing it with you. As always, we encourage you to continue exploring the rich tapestry of history and to join us on our journey through the past. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to sharing more fascinating stories with you in the future. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so that you never miss an episode.